So this morning, I'm taking my daughter to school, and they always do these trivia questions all the time.
Trivia?
And one, I didn't catch all the beginning hints, but one of the hints was Rosa Parks.
Who's they?
Rosa Parks.
No,
that was one of the hints.
Who does trivia?
Yeah, it's just on the radio.
Oh, on the radio.
Like, we're just listening to the radio, and I don't really listen to the radio that much anymore. We'll actually get into that later in the show.
Okay.
But I'm just listening, and one of the things was Rosa Parks, and I guess the answer ended up being Outcast or some kind of Outcast song.
Okay.
So I just decided I'm gonna play that song Rosa Parks for my daughter because she'll like that, you know. And I'm just like kind of reminiscing. So then after I drop her off, I get into this total, just one of those YouTube, what do you call it? YouTube black holes. YouTube black holes.
Time sucks. Yeah.
But it was always old '90s, like mid '90s to early 2000s hip hop and rap.
Yeah.
Like the stuff we used to listen to. I just started listening to Snoop Dogg, and then I was listening to Notorious B.I.G. and just all the stuff. I don't know. Didn't know if that was interesting to you, but I guess because it'll be more of a topic later on too. But I just was weird how I got caught into that. I haven't listened to that stuff in years and years, but I still knew all the words, of course. It was just awesome, and I'm sitting there thinking, yeah. They don't make music like that anymore.
No, they don't.
And then I sounded to myself like an old man. They don't make them like they used to.
Right.
You're listening to You're 40. Now what? Getting closer to early bird dinners, but still not quite ready to grow up. So hike up your pants, sip your latte, and get ready for the show. And now, the hosts of You're 40, Now What? Tach and Ron.
Welcome to another episode of You're 40, Now What? My name is Tach, and with me, as always,
Ron.
That's it, just Ron. Ron, I was going to try to make up a nickname for him, but I couldn't think of anything.
Ravishing Ronald, the women.
Wait, what is that? What was that from?
That was from an old Bugs Bunny cartoon from like the 80s. It was like some kind of boxing thing. Remember when he goes against that big, mean-looking boxer dude?
Yeah.
And one of the people that, the first guy that big, mean, giant boxing dude kicks ass is Ravishing Ronald. Just turns Ravishing Ronald into a pretzel. It was the only person or name that related to Ronald that I thought sounded good. I've never liked it. Ronald McDonald, Ronald Reagan. You know, I've never really liked my name very much. And most people I know named Ron or Ronald don't like their name.
Yeah.
So I always liked the Ravishing Ronald. So that's just my go-to if somebody tries to give me a nickname. Besides dumbass.
Who calls you that? Your wife?
Yeah, a lot. A lot. And deservedly so. Well, I thought the first thing we could talk about, speaking of my wife, the first thing we could talk about was some 50 Shades of Grey, man.
I know absolutely nothing about that.
That's okay. All right, so let me give you the concept of 50 Shades of Grey.
Okay, here we go.
So there's a girl.
Wait a second. Have you read the books?
I have not read the books. I've seen the movies. I've read kind of bits and pieces of the books, like some of the good stuff, or had some of the books read to me. But mostly I've just seen the first two movies now.
Story time. Who's reading this? Who's reading them?
My wife.
Oh, okay.
my daughter. It was for a school project.
Story time. Everybody gather around.
So we're going to gather around. So 50 Shades of Grey. So the character, the female, Anastasia Steele, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yeah, that's her name.
That's the name of the book? Wow.
That's her name, Anastasia, yeah.
Yeah, it just sounds like a soap opera name, that's all.
It is. It's awesome.
Anastasia Steele.
Yeah,
Madam Steele to you.
She pretty much meets this, hardcore billionaire, and he takes a serious liking to her. But he's not into the girlfriend thing. He likes to be, I guess, a dominant and wants them to be a submissive, like the whole BDSM kind of deal.
Okay.
That's really the gist of it. The gist of it. And pretty much he ends up, though, kind of for the first time, well, maybe the first time, starting to fall for her. Like she's like getting to him in a way others haven't. So that's the concept of it. But in between there, obviously, in the middle of that love story is all this ridiculously, super sex, whatever you want to call it, BDSM, beating and nipple clamps and you name it. And, little Kegel balls or whatever, all this stuff.
right.
Right, you got me there, right?
Yeah, I got you.
Has your girl read 50 Shades of Grey? She into that at all?
No, she has zero interest.
Isn't she a writer? Not that you have to be a writer, you have to read 50 Shades of Grey, but isn't she?
Right. Yeah, she is.
Okay, so I haven't read her books yet. Sorry, I haven't read her books yet.
It's okay.
Is she, like, are her books, there's no, like, sexual stuff or anything in there?
Well, okay. I'm kind of guilty here of not finishing her first book yet.
Dude, you've been dating her for like 7-8 months, haven't you?
Know. Yeah, and it's not even that. Like, I started reading it before her and I were together. And, I don't know, I used to be so much more of a reader especially when I was in the Navy, because out at sea, I would just read book after book after book. But, like, ever since, I don't know, the past few years, I just kind of been slacking on my reading and haven't been doing very well. So I definitely need to get back on it. That's for sure.
I won't bug you then that I sent you a short story like 2 weeks ago. You still haven't read it yet.
2 weeks ago. It was a couple days
like a week ago. Considering that you haven't read her book in like a year.
It hasn't been a year yet, but
is there no sex in her book or anything? She's
I think that there is. I think there is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was just that had nothing to do with this. So why do you think, I'm going to ask you the question, I like that you don't know.
Okay.
Why do you think women like 50 Shades of Grey? Because there is one answer and one answer only, really. I mean, there's reasons they enjoy it, but there's one reason they really love it.
Specifically 50 Shades of Grey? Not so much romance novels?
Well, we're going to get to that, but right now let's stay with 50 Shades of Grey.
Okay, so I'm guessing the target market is like soccer moms or
it's actually considered
30
mommy.
to 50
It's considered
year olds.
mommy porn. They actually call 50 Shades of Grey mommy porn.
So
a lot of books now are kind of trending that way.
Right. So I assume they probably like it because it kind of gets them the escape without actually cheating, kind of a thing. I don't know. I guess it's like it's like their porn almost, but it's different because there's, I don't know. Am I close? Something along those lines, That's
some of the reasons they enjoy reading it. That's a lot of the reasons it entertains them. But, and I could say this is my opinion, but I'm almost going to go with 90% fact. It has nothing to do with the reason they really love it and are drawn to the story. Has nothing to do with it. Okay. They like the concept of a hot, sexy, confident guy, a billionaire or a cowboy, whatever that happens to be,
right?
Falling to their knees and getting shaky-legged in love with some girl when they never have before. There is just something about that to a woman that gets to them, and then none of that has to do with sex. Now, 50 Shades of Grey is unique in the fact that they took that concept. I think her name's E.L. James, the author. And by the way, I believe that book was originally written as fan fiction, Twilight fan fiction. Anastasia Steele was based off Bella, and Christian Grey was based off Edward, and it was the same concept.
So the guy's name is Grey.
Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey, yep.
So 50 Shades
of fucked up, as he says in the,
gotcha.
in the book. But they love the concept of just a debonair type guy, be it a billionaire, millionaire, be it some hardcore farm guy who's always just been, whatever, I just bang some chicks, I ain't loving nobody. And then all of a sudden some girl just gets to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they are so in love with that girl that they would do anything for them. Anything. That's why romance novels in general follow that theme. 50 Shades of Grey is even more popular because they took that concept, just that classic concept. I'm telling you, if you read it, look at Twilight. Are you familiar with Twilight?
Yeah,
The Rules of Vampires, blah, blah, blah.
I actually did read the Twilight
That's
books.
why. That's another reason why Twilight's popular. If you can write a book that brings in that concept and make everything around it extremely entertaining and interesting, be it BDSM or vampires and werewolves, you see what I mean? If you can, if you can just encapsulate all that together, you'll write a best-selling book. So it's just a lesson for the guys as to if you can understand why a girl likes 50 Shades of Grey, you might be better able to understand, or Twilight, or whatever. You might be better able to understand kind of the female thought process a little bit. It's
the theme of willing to do anything for another woman.
Yes, and the fact that maybe you've been a person who's never been willing to be that way before. Now, if every time a girl comes along, you're just some little, suck up,
Right.
you know what I'm talking about.
Little puppy that
for every girl. No, that's not getting
chicks don't want that.
Sure, you can whip me. No, we're not talking about that.
I don't think that guy's making that conversation anytime soon.
I don't even know. I can't even say that her intent in writing it was really that. What was her intent more? I really want to just make a good story around the sex. I wanted to write a book about BDSM, and I got to make a good story around it. Was like, did she bring it from the sex and then she built it around there, or did she bring it from the characters and then she put the sex world around it? I'm not even really sure. But it's just something to definitely be mindful of. I think very few women read it because they want to read about the sex. Now, they like the sex. They like reading about the sex, and they'd rather visualize in their head and read than guys, obviously, they want to see it. But girls aren't into seeing it as much, obviously. So what's this got to do with being 40, you ask, right?
Yes, good question.
Absolutely nothing. I just wanted to bring it up. No. Actually, it's something that I don't think anybody in their 20s would really be able to realize, and maybe even into your 30s. It's kind of hard to figure out. But as you get older and wiser, and they say, oh, you never figure out women. Yeah, eventually. And women the same way. You eventually kind of figure out men in general, I think. Most do. You start to figure it out. You don't always understand it, but you start to figure it out. And you may not agree with it. It may not be how you feel. Like, I like the 50 Shades of Grey books or movies because of all the sex. I don't really get much into the whole love story part. Not my thing. But I totally understand why the women love it. And it's not because of the sex. It's because of the love story. Sex just happens to be what made the love story interesting.
Which I guess is why, The Notebook is so popular. Same kind of theme, too. It's a guy that's willing to do anything for the woman he loves, kind of a thing, and it's a great love story. I actually happen to like the movie The Notebook. I didn't read the book, but I saw the movie. I thought the movie was pretty decent. So
you're gay. I'm just kidding, dude. I'm just playing with you.
Go off talking about 50 Shades of Grey.
I'm sitting there talking about Twilight and 50 Shades, and I say that to you. But and now lots of books have been written about, and I'm not trying to. I've been getting into the writing thing lately, obviously.
Yeah.
But book.
What you writing, buddy?
It's good. What?
What you writing?
I'm writing.
I don't know if you want to talk about it now or
yeah, I'll talk about it.
All right.
I'm writing short story erotica.
Short story erotica.
Yeah, this cool. Might be, some people might consider it smut. I like to think of it as quick interludes of hot sex.
He's writing porn.
That also might be a more accurate description.
That's cool, though.
Yeah, interesting, huh? So we were actually talking about that. What is it, yesterday? And as I'm kind of learning more and more about this world of writing erotica,
it's interesting. Cool.
We talked about the whole dinosaur porn.
Yeah, I was like, is that a thing? And
yeah, believe it or not, it is actually a thing, and here's why. And I'm not a niche writer. Like, the stuff I write is general, girls, guys, maybe a little threesome action, maybe whatever. Anyway, just your basic stuff. I don't write diaper fetishes. I don't write
that's gross.
Men's biker bar gangbangs. I don't write, things like that. But Amazon will not accept certain things. Obviously, they won't accept any kind of child pornography. There's no way around that. They will not do anything with incest. So there's only a certain level of incest as far as your cousin's cousin or whatever. Like they won't accept any literature that has brother and sister sleeping together, mom and son.
I find that hard to believe.
They won't.
I bet you there's an Oedipus book somewhere they found on Amazon.
They won't accept that stuff in that, especially if it's in the when I'm talking about in the erotica realm as far as the niche goes.
I know.
They won't accept that. They also won't accept any bestiality. And believe it or not, dinosaur porn, because dinosaurs don't actually exist anymore. It's like it's like a loophole around the bestiality.
So as long as it's like either a fictitious creature or
because for instance, you could write about aliens. Now, is that considered bestiality?
No, that's not bestiality because they're intelligent.
Okay, they're not.
They're not.
What if they're not beastly?
They could be beastly aliens. It could be aliens that look like dogs. But does
aliens
that work, though?
They're aliens, but they look like dogs and they bark, and they happen to be pets of humans.
But they speak too. They talk too.
Okay. So as long as the dog talks, it's not okay. We're really going down a nasty road here. But man, I just thought I would bring that up as an interesting topic. Something there was no 50 Shades when I was in my 20s, but it's definitely not something until more recently I started to realize, that's why women like it. And it's not really a guess. Like I'm 99% sure most women enjoy it because of that. And I would be interested if any women listen to this show and have read or watched 50 Shades and are interested in it. Why do you like it? Obviously, they like the sex part. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't disgust them. But there's way more to it than that.
Any women listening to this, they should email us at your40nowwhat@gmail.com and let us know why you enjoy 50 Shades of Grey, the movies, the books, whatever, what have you.
Exactly. Exactly, boss.
Exactly.
All right, man. Let's take a little break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we're going to talk about something probably a little bit more relative to being in your 40s than 50 Shades of Grey.
All right.
We should have called that segment 40 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be right back, everybody.
Haley is bored. Bored with life and endlessly looking for a purpose and her place in the universe. She knows there's more out there than working 9 to 5. She never imagined going on one job interview would change everything and open doors she never knew existed. Ancient family journals, 2 friends, and an irresistible bloodlust to deal with. Turns out being a vampire isn't as sexy as she thought it would be. Between the monster, late-night bloodbaths, and a vengeful ex-love of her man, it keeps her busy. But it doesn't have to be this way. Does it? Should she live free and forever without responsibilities? Or will she find the direction she's been looking for? One thing she does know is that she will fight for what she wants and create the perfect life without traditional vampire restrictions. And she won't let anyone or anything get in her way. Order your copy of the novel First Generation Book 1 by Zoe Emerson on Amazon. Available on paperback and Kindle. For more information, go to zoeemerson.com.
And we're back. We're back from the break. Thank you for listening to our sponsors. Noise. We are brought to you by Dichotomy Media, LLC. We are, actually. They're the ones that bequeath us our sponsors. They don't pay us anything for it. They just give us the sponsors.
Well, I mean,
we take all the money. Isn't that how it works?
soon as we start growing our listeners, then we'll start making some money.
So if we just have 2 listeners, but we grow them really fat, does that work? We grow our listeners?
We just have to send...
Look how big they got. That's so stupid.
Which reminds me, Your 40 Now What is now available on YouTube as well under the Dichotomy Media channel on YouTube. So go check it out there as well.
Word. All right, man. So imagine a world where you are 40-something years old and you haven't had any kids and you haven't been married, you're not married, any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know people like this?
I know a couple, yeah. Uh-huh.
And how do you feel their life is going for them, for the most part?
Oh, God. I imagine that's different per person. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
because
it seems
to me like we look at it like, oh my God, can you imagine? Blah, blah, blah. But I the few people I know like that, I feel like they're a little bit lost. Even if they're set in their careers and they're making decent money, they're a little bit lost. They're a little bit lonely, even if they don't want to admit it. Not exactly sure where they're going with it. Kind of starting to think about, am I going to end up alone? You know, am I going to die at 70 alone? Like, I could see that's kind of in their thought process a little bit. Yeah, it seems like fun, but how long would that fun really last? You know what I mean?
I think it all depends. I think there's some people that are single with no kids in their 40s and love every second of it. And I don't think that applies to everyone, because I know some people that are single and fucking love it and have no kids, and they have so many things going on. They're constantly busy doing, whether it's projects or going to galas, events, what have you, you know.
Galas. Who goes to galas in Brevard County?
I'm just saying, I'm not restricting this to Brevard County only, you know, so. But, you know,
so you're saying it depends on where you live. If you're in Seattle, great. If you're in Brevard County, better hook up with somebody. You're going to die alone and bored.
If you live in San Francisco, then you are the norm, I would imagine. You know, I'm not just referring to homosexuals or anything, but, you know, it's kind of like hipsters, and, you know, a lot of hipsters don't have kids yet.
What's a hipster?
You don't know what a hipster is?
Oh, is that like a flower child?
No.
What's a hipster? You mean a millennial? Aren't all millennials hipsters?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, that's pretty accurate.
Describe
but there's also
to me,
older
if
hipsters.
you will, a
hipster?
hipster.
A hipster is somebody who won't be told by the man, you know, like what to wear or how to live or whatever. You know, they like the quirky things. They like they dress kind of ridiculous. They're the ones that will have they'll wear like a suit with like a bow tie and have like the huge handlebar mustache and probably smoke from a pipe versus like a cigarette or something like that.
So hipsters are people from the 1800s?
Yes.
Is that what you're trying to tell me?
And they dress that way because they won't be told by the man what society wants you, how they want you to dress, you know. So they usually will dress kind of ridiculous, but they like it that way because they think it looks cool, you know, or they're very pretentious. That's another thing too, you know.
Okay.
And they think being different is, you know, it's hard to explain. I don't know what the actual definition is, let's look up the definition of hipster.
Please do.
Okay. Hipster says, according to, I guess, Google, a person who follows the latest trends and fashions, especially those regarded as being outside the cultural mainstream. Let's see. There's Urban Dictionary version.
So just pretty much outside of what we would consider normal. So if I throw on jeans and a polo for dinner, that would not exactly be the hipster way.
No.
Hipster way would be like shorts and a long sleeve, like weird looking striped shirt and some fucking glasses with no actual glass in them, just rims, just the frames, I should say.
Yeah, and maybe like a blow up rubber ducky like around their waist, you know.
Wow, that seems more moronic than hipster, but okay.
That's a bit extreme, but I'm just saying, you know, it's like, you know.
I got you. Okay, I follow. Anyway, why do you know? Is that all the people you know, like the guys you know who are 40 plus, no married, no kids? They're hipsters? Is that
No,
what you're saying?
no. I was just saying, being single with no kids, that's San Francisco is probably full of like single and no kids because of a lot of hipsters, millennials. Plus, it's California. That's just, I don't know. It just seems like a lot of, especially in Northern California and like parts of like Portland, Oregon. It's a huge hipster area. So I'm just saying.
Interesting. Yeah,
but not so much just because you're a hipster, you don't have kids, but mostly probably. I would say most hipsters do not have children.
Because you're kind of going through life, living for yourself. You don't worry about other people that much. Is that kind of what it's about?
Yeah, because society tells you that you need to get married and have kids, and they don't go by what society says.
Understood. So, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have a friend who was married once for a while, and then he got divorced. He's never had kids. And, man, he's just bounced from relationship to relationship to relationship. Just multiple times. I just feel bad for the guy.
Why do you feel bad for him?
I can tell he's not really happy.
Okay, but he's also learning something from every relationship. He's also discovering himself.
He's learning that he's not good at relationships. I mean, he's my age, and he still ain't got this figured out yet.
I went through the same thing. I guess I'm not saying I'm still going through it because I have a girlfriend, but like I went through it for years. Like I could never. I still have yet to make a relationship last longer than 3 years. So right now, me and my girlfriend, we're going on almost a year. Well, it'll be a year in July. So, and things are going great so far.
So it's like 6 months then. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we're like 7 months or I don't know. What you do the math? I don't know. It's March, so
yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure that I would be happy in life that way. But is it that they look at us and think, man, I can't imagine that. The daily grind, the wife, the kids, the job. That's just crazy to me. I wonder which way it is, or do they look at that and think, oh, I kind of like some aspects of that, but I really don't want to give up what I have. And then maybe we kind of look at that too, like, ooh, some aspects of that sound nice. You kind of just doing your own thing and not having to be responsible for other people. But then I would, if you got to taste it and then it was gone, I guess it would be a different story. That's really the big thing. If you had a taste of it and then all of a sudden it was gone, either way, you'd be probably more inclined to miss it.
I feel bad for the guy who had the taste of the married with children life and then now is single and alone. Because that would, I assume, either the wife ran off with the kids or they all died. So
wow.
I hate to be that guy. So.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah.
So
I think it's different for everybody.
What about women? I wonder.
What about women?
Is the drive for them stronger to mate up? Just kidding. Is the drive for them stronger to connect with somebody, have a relationship? It almost seems like, I don't know if the natural drive is for them stronger. But like you said, society tells guys, yes, but society really tells women, you're supposed to get married and have babies.
Well, I mean, not to keep bringing up my girlfriend again, but her and her sister both are like that. No kids. They have no interest in having kids, and they enjoy the freedom. They enjoy being able to work on things. And because I don't know so much about her sister because I don't know her really well, but I know my girlfriend she's one of the rare few women that actually have hobbies. I don't know if some of you women have ever heard of that word before, but you might want to look it up.
That's wrong.
But she actually has hobbies and interests and things that she does, projects that she works on. So she stays busy and she doesn't have any interest in having kids really. She never has. And she does enjoy that freedom to be able to do that. So.
Okay. But, she is obviously into having a relationship. That obviously must be because she's had relationships in the past, and she's in a relationship now. So, not having kids is one thing, but people who are no kids, no marriage, no relationship, they're just bouncing from person to person. That for me, once you get into your 40s, seems hard to figure out. And I wonder, are those people really happy, or are they just pretending like they're happy. But again, I can only see it from one lens. That's the problem.
Right.
I can't
think it's
see
different.
it from any other view besides my own. So it's hard for me to imagine.
Right. I think it's different, and taking those specific people that's all they want. I'm sure it's the same way. Like, I don't get the whole, like, I don't even like doing the daily grind. I hate that. I think it's awful. Or getting married and having a house and doing the daily grind and having the kids. Like, there's some people that have no interest in that at all, like zero, and they don't understand why some people do. So it goes both ways. So
what are they going to do when they're 60, 70? I mean, not going to be able to go out and hit clubs anymore and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Well, not all
not
these
going to be
people are
dating
into partying.
around all the time. So what are you going to be doing with your life?
there's tons of things you can be doing with your life. What do normal people do at 60?
I don't know, shuffleboard and golf?
Okay, well, there you go.
I guess you just do that. You just go home to an empty apartment or whatever.
Well, if you're 60 and 70, you're going to have an empty place anyway. It's not like you still have kids living at home or anything.
Well, yeah, but you generally are married at that point, and assuming that by the time you've hit, say, late 50s, 60, you haven't died of old age yet.
Right. I don't know. I can't answer that because I'm not that age or in that scenario, so I have no idea.
But we're supposed to pontificate here. That's the point of this.
Right. I don't want to say, oh, yeah, they'll definitely be lonely and they need to find somebody.
Prognosticate might have been the more proper fancy word.
Okay, I just assumed I knew what it meant. So,
Noise.
So, I mean, I'm not going to say, oh, they'll definitely be lonely and they should find somebody. They should have a dating app out there for seniors, and there probably is. But
no, there are. It's called Tender Gray. I don't know. I'm just trying to make up something really horribly mean. What can we do? Let's do it. Let's work on it right now. Let's try and come up with some good app
Metamucil
name.
Seniors.
For what?
Metamucil Seniors.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
Oh, God. Hookups and hip replacements. I don't know.
There definitely is a joke in there somewhere, but
I'm just trying to make up. I'm just trying to make up what a.
No, I know. But I know there's a really good one.
If you were 100 years old, say, not looking for anything permanent.
Yeah, they just
Are you following me on that one? Okay.
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
Gotcha. God. I'm mean and you're slow. This is really working out well.
What do you mean?
Oh my God. Noise.
Mom's slow.
All right, man. Let's take another quick break, sir.
All right.
And when we get back, we're gonna just lighten it up a little. Not that wasn't light, but we're gonna lighten it up even more with a topic I know that's more near and dear. That's it. Dear and near to your heart.
Okay.
Village Idiot Pub. You locals know about it. You guys from out of town have to check them out.
Village Idiot Pub is proud to sponsor Your 40 Now What podcast.
Tach and Ron from Your 40 Now What seem to have found a perfect sponsor. A pub with over 30 beers on tap, including ciders, as well as hundreds of bottle choices.
You forgot my favorite, all the delicious wine. So get your friends together and enjoy the board games, puzzles, and the giant Jenga.
Let the owner Jason, as well as the rest of the staff there, take excellent care of your beer drinking needs. Tuesday is open mic, Wednesday is trivia, Thursday is karaoke, Friday and Saturday night are live music.
Visit them at 4 Harrison Street, Suite 103, Cocoa, Florida, or Village Idiot Pub on Facebook. And don't forget, they are a dog-friendly location, so bring your friends, family, and fur babies.
And welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the break. Did you enjoy the break, Ron?
I enjoyed it very much.
Good.
Should we tell them what we were talking about on the break?
Ooh, I don't know.
I don't think so. Nice. We were talking. We were trading recipes. Jesus, I thought you fucking beans. We were trading recipes for fudge.
For fudge?
Yes.
Actually, it was like fudge cookies, but yeah.
That's what you're calling it. All right.
Oh man, so music, man, music.
Yes.
You keeping up with the music?
No. I kind of am a little bit. Pretty much like I when we opened the show, I was talking about how I was listening to the radio this morning. The only time I listen to the radio anymore is when I'm in the car with somebody else, my wife or something, my daughter. Beyond that, I'm usually listening to podcasts or something. So I think maybe, I don't know if it was my age or technology, the whole podcasting, all that thing.
Yeah.
One of them sent me off the musical trail. And you know me, I listen to all the modern, I don't listen to country, but I pretty much listen to all the other modern genres of music all the way up until maybe, I don't know, 37, 38.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I just stop. But then even when I catch myself listening to the radio, I'm generally looking for older stuff.
Well, you've always been that way. Well, not older stuff, but you've kind of... The older stuff you're looking for is the stuff you used to listen to a long time ago.
Yeah.
When it wasn't older stuff. So you like more of like the light rock stuff.
Light rock. I mean, even like around here we got WJRR, just rock. But more of the older rock, I don't like. I think new rock sucks. Worse than new hip hop or pop, in my opinion. It's just horrible. I mean, most of it is just horrible. And it must be because I used to listen to 101.1, which is out of Orlando. You turn it on now, and 85 to 90% of what they're playing is the same stuff they were playing 10, 15 years ago. So that goes to tell you right then and there that new rock sucks. You know what I mean? But when you get on the other stations, your top 40 stuff, oh my God, 80, 90% of that stuff, I just can't hear it. I can't listen to it anymore. And I feel so old saying that. So old. I feel like such an old codger. Like maybe I'm even beyond 40 on that one. But I mean, there are some songs I like, but mostly I just can't take it. It's really bad.
I hear you there. Like I don't keep up with the pop at all.
Well, you were never really into
I never
the pop.
Followed pop. Like I remember like when my kids used to listen to stuff like that a lot more often, like around me, like several years ago, like they kind of kept me in tune with it because they would play it constantly, or I'd play the station that plays it when they're in the car and stuff like that. Now they just listen to earbuds, so. And also, back in my 20s or even early 30s, I did listen to the radio quite a bit. Usually, like certain, like in the mornings, listen to a certain like morning show, like the morning zoo of some kind, And those were I used to love that stuff, And then I used to listen to radio a lot more. But then I got an iPod, several years ago, like a decade ago, and then that almost made me stop listening to the radio altogether. Now I just listen to either podcasts or music on my iPod in the car.
What music are you listening to though? Anything current, or you're mostly staying with
some. Like I keep up with like modern rock and modern metal and stuff like that. Like one of my favorite bands now is probably Slipknot and stuff like that. And they released an album a couple years ago. And
so I think of Slipknot. I think of some of their older stuff. I'm not even familiar with their new stuff. Is it just as good?
Oh God, their last album they just came out with is fucking amazing. I love it. Oh, I can't stop listening to that album. It's so
Are they
good.
even playing that stuff on radio stations though, or is that the problem? Now the better music like that is you got to go get it. You got to go download it or whatever. And that's where I missed the whole. That's where I fell off the train.
I'm not sure because haven't listened to the radio in a long time, so I'm not sure what they're playing on rock stations now. But I know that there's music videos for certain songs. I know that just by looking them up online or looking them up on YouTube or Vivo or something like that.
That's another thing. I've lost my way as far as watching videos. Like I don't watch music. I haven't seen music videos. Like we were talking earlier about Outkast and the Rosa Parks. I had never seen that video. And that's an old song.
How does that song go again?
You're going to make me sing it, aren't you? What's that for?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
To the back of the bus. Okay.
That's right.
I'm not doing
heard
the whole
that
thing.
in
I will
years.
Stop. Do you want to bump and slump with us? We the type of people make the club get crunk. Oh, sorry. Yeah, baby. Okay. I didn't the video thing because I stopped playing videos on MTV years and years ago. And people would say, hey, have you seen the video of this or that? I was like, how do you even watch videos for a while? Now, obviously, you go to YouTube, but it's not in my face. Like, I used to turn on the TV on MTV, and the videos are there in my face, and I would watch
Well, that's why, because you turned on MTV.
Yeah.
When's the last time you turned on MTV?
But now they haven't played music videos on MTV for years and years and years, so I don't watch music videos very much anymore. For modern songs, for new stuff.
Right. I didn't even know the channel MTV was still around. Last time I watched MTV, I think was like 98 was like the last time I was really watching.
They have stuff like Teen Mom on there and stuff like that. That's their programming now.
Well, there's other channels like what's that one channel? It starts with a P. It was like a new music station that started up.
Is there? I don't know.
Several years ago.
VH1 is still around. MTV.
Like,
I CMT. I guess I don't BET. It's all a T.
It was called like I used to love it a few years ago. I think it was called like Palladia or
never heard of that in my life. I think you're making it up. So
I can't remember. Anyway, it was like a music station. They played music videos. They also had like live concerts for certain like bands and things like that. It was great.
So I guess the big question really is, did I stop listening to modern music because I just lost interest, or did I stop listening to modern music because my habits changed, my listening habits based off technology or based off what was available to me to entertain me on a drive in the car or what have you?
I think, I definitely think it's your listening habits have changed, because if you're tapped in, you're going to see it everywhere. If you're not, then you're not.
Yeah, I'm just not tapped in. That's what it is. But is that starting to make me that guy? You know what I mean? Like, I don't listen to that shit anymore. They call this music. You know, I feel like I'm getting that way. That's just when I back in my day, we had real music, Snoop Dogg. You know,
screaming at the kids on your lawn.
That's exactly. Next. I feel like it's one of those things that's stepping me into old age a little faster than I want to go. But then, am I going to be one of those people? Hey, check out Ariana Grande's new song. Check out The Weeknd. And then I sound like an idiot. Have you heard that new jam by The Weeknd with Daft Punk? It's the bomb. You know,
is that an actual like group or whatever? The Weeknd.
Yeah, they sing. He sings.
Won't even know it.
He's got he's a black guy with like dreads, but his dreads are really like big and thick. They almost look like something out of Star Wars.
I gotcha.
Actually, some of his songs or their songs, whatever, aren't so bad. This is some of the stuff that I happen to hear here and there on the radio. And Daft Punk, you probably know them.
I'm familiar with Daft Punk.
They sing that song, you know, she's up all night to the sun, I'm up all night to get some. That song kind of sounds, you never heard that song? It's weird. That song actually sounds like something, what's their face? Why can't I remember? Earth, Wind, and Fire. If Earth, Wind, and Fire were going to make a big comeback, I mean, they're still kind of making music, I guess, and I know they still tour, but if they were going to make like a big comeback and be on the radio, that song almost sounded like something they would try and sing.
Gotcha.
It almost sounded a little older. Like sometimes music will be that way. Like you could take songs and you could probably transplant them back 10 years forward or 10 years backwards, and they would still fit for whatever reason. People would still like them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man. So who else you like? You talked about Slipknot. Who else are you into? Are you in? Wait a minute. I know, like, I don't listen to them, and I tried to listen to them a couple times, and I guess I got why people liked it. But Five Finger Death Punch, is that all right?
Five Finger Death Punch. Yeah, a lot of their stuff is really good. The one thing I kind of bothers me a little bit about FFDP.
Oh my god, we have to abbreviate everything nowadays, don't we?
Is they're just oversaturated. They came out with like 20 albums in the past 10 years. And it's just like, there's too much. It's way too much. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I like a lot of their stuff. Some stuff I'm just a little like, it could use a little work. But most of the stuff do. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're all right.
I don't know, it seems like there was a lot more. But okay, so name me 5 bands right now that you're like, hell yeah, these bands fucking rock. They're current bands.
Current
Not bands that have been making music for 20 years. You can't tell me Metallica and shit.
They just had an album come out.
I
last
understand
month.
that, but that doesn't count because we already knew they can make good music. They've been doing it for
Okay,
years.
gotcha.
I'm talking about ones that have come in maybe the last 3-5 years that are kicking ass that you like. So you said Five Finger Death Punch, not so much.
No, I mean, I do
Name
like
me some
them.
that haven't been around for 15, 20 years. Like Slipknot. They've been around a long time.
Yeah, they've been around a while. Shit. A new band that's been around, like a new band?
Yes. Look, dude, you can't even think of something right off the top of your head. You're having to look it up on your phone. That's how shitty
Yeah.
it's getting, man.
Well,
New
not necessarily.
music sucks. New rock is horrible. When I say new rock, I don't mean the bands that have been around a while. I mean new bands. They blow. They're not. Everything has become so commercialized that nobody's in their garage, quote unquote, rocking out, making kick-ass music, and then bringing it out to the world because it's like they don't even get out to the world or something. It's all being put together by producers. It's horrible.
There is, but I have a feeling that once I see a list, I go, oh yeah. You know, like, oh, okay, here's like, there's a lot of like really good chick lead singer bands for metal that are really good out there. There's
Like?
I'm trying to remember the name now.
Yeah, see, they can't be grabbing you like it was grabbing you back in the day. Because if you had asked us this question, who do you like right now, 10, 15 years ago? Dude, we would have been able to rap off like 10 bands or 10 groups or whatever it is.
Well, my main thing is my problem. I'm not saying that there isn't any good talent out there, which I know there is. I've been a little untapped for the past few years. But because I've been stuck in the podcast and iPod world.
So you kind of stopped listening to some of the newer stuff.
Not
like
that
me.
I don't want to. I want to. I want to discover these new bands out there. And I have slowly every once in a while come across a new band. And I'm like, holy shit, they're fucking badass. You know, like there's what's the name of that? Like Dead Sarah, I think is one of the
Dead
one
Sarah,
of another one.
That's a cool name.
And the chick on there, great voice. I mean, there's In This Moment is another great chick lead singer band. My girlfriend loves In This Moment. So does my daughter.
What are they called? In This Moment?
Yeah, In This Moment.
Gotcha.
Really good. The chick lead singer looks like she's this blonde that looks like she would be an angel for, was that company? Model.
Angel Soft Toilet Paper?
No. What's that? A Victoria's Secret model. That's what she looks like.
Okay.
And she's badass. And there's tons out there. I can't think of any, but I'm sure there's some that I don't even know about that are really good. Like I also love a band that's been around for a while that I really love too. Is I don't know why I can't think this morning. Is Kill Switch Engage is another great one. They just got a new lead singer. And that album that came out a couple of years ago is amazing. So good.
So there's a few out there.
Yeah,
but it's not
there's
like it
tons.
used to be. Because it used to be...
It's just me. That's me.
Tons. I don't know that it's
gotcha.
you. I think it's the music and not us. That's what I'm just going to say. But maybe everybody in their 40s, as some people that were in their 40s 20 years ago, oh, today's music sucks. Like, no, I don't think anybody thinks that because I see. Here's another clue for you. I know tons of people in their 20s that know and love and dig in, and they listen to like a bunch of 80s and 90s stuff. They're all about it.
I love 80s music.
Because the music
Hell yeah.
was better. That's what I'm saying, man.
I'm not saying better, but
It
I
was
loved
better.
it. I loved it.
I'm just going to straight up say it. The music back then is better than it was now. And even the people who have grown up with today's music still love the music from the 90s and the 80s. They still think it's better.
Oh, that's true, because my daughters even know, like I'll put on an 80s station, they'll know probably half the songs that come on.
Yeah. My son, he's really not into music at all. But what little music he is, it's like he likes, I like Michael Jackson and stuff, like old stuff, because it was better.
Right.
Just straight up. So I'm not going to, you know what, I decided right here and there, I'm not going to blame being old for the reason I stopped listening to music. I'm going to blame the music industry for the reason I stopped listening to music.
I think it's a mixture of both.
You got to be so, no, can't you just take a hard line, my man?
No,
It's
not
a
on
mixture
this.
of both. Let's
but
all
I'm
get
blaming
along
myself
here.
too.
I don't want to insult anybody.
No. It has nothing to do with insulting anybody. I'm blaming myself too. Like I'm untapped from it, and I've been wanting to hear about newer bands and new music that's coming out as far as rock and metal and stuff. But I don't know how to go about it.
Well, we need to have somebody on talking about the new music. Introduce us to some.
Okay.
Word. All right, man.
We're gonna have to get a teenager.
I know, right? Yeah, here's so and so. They're 14 and they're here to talk.
Well, maybe not a teenager, but maybe somebody in their 20s.
Yeah, so. There you go. I'm telling you, I bet you if you ask most people in their 20s, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I really like Nirvana. I really like Pearl Jam." That's what they're gonna say.
Also, if you say, "Hey, what's some new metal bands that are out right now?" They'll probably rattle off 20 bands.
Maybe.
Because they're tapped in more. So
Maybe.
I'm not saying I'm going to love them, but...
Understood.
Yeah.
Good point. So, all right, man. Anything else before we go ahead and wrap this up? Social media? You want to run through all the social media and all that?
Yeah. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Y40NW. Right? That's up and going? Yeah.
It is.
You can send us an email at your40nowwhat@gmail.com. Also, check out our new YouTube channel. Well, it's under Dichotomy Media LLC Podcasts.
So we don't have our own YouTube channel. It's under the Dichotomy. So you can't look up Your 40 Now What and find it?
Yeah, well, maybe. I never tried searching it that way. But once you go to Dichotomy Media, then there's going to be playlists. And it's going to be also the other shows that are within the network, so to speak. So there's also going to be Living Vicariously and Twisted 10, and then ours, which is Your 40 Now What. So
Roger.
Yeah. What else am I forgetting?
You gonna start Taint Funny back up, dude?
I'm trying to. It's just hard to schedule. That's all.
Cool.
I do have another project in the works too. I don't want to talk about it too much into it yet until we get started. But
okay. Yeah. You talked about Facebook, the Facebook page yet?
You can find us on Facebook. I mean, Your 40 Now What.
Okay.
Just do a search.
You really know how to sell it.
But subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. So important. We need to come up with some sort of contest or something to get people to do it.
Well, we have to have listeners in order to have a contest.
I saw the numbers on the last first 3 episodes we dropped, and they were doing pretty well. So
cool. Good deal. All right, everybody.
All right. Anything else?
No, that's all I got, man. Until next time.
All
right. So I am Ron. This has been Tach. Thank you very much for listening to Your 40 Now What's. Appreciate it. If you guys ever want to throw us any topic ideas about what's going on in your world of being 40, please do it on Twitter. I got the Twitter on my phone, so it's kind of like almost like texting me. Email us, like we said before, Facebook, what have you. And we're always looking for ideas, things to talk about for the show.
Hell yeah.
All right. Take it easy, man. We'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Story is all this ridiculously, super sex, whatever you want to call it, BDSM, beating and nipple clamps and you name it, and little Kegel balls or whatever, all this stuff.
right.
Right, you got me there, right?
Yeah, I got you.
Has your girl read 50 Shades of Grey? She into that at all?
No, she has zero interest.
Isn't she a writer? Not that you have to be a writer, you have to read 50 Shades of Grey, but isn't she?
Right. Yeah, she is.
Okay, so I haven't read her books yet. Sorry, I haven't read her books yet.
It's okay.
Is she, are her books, there's no, sexual stuff or anything in there?
Well, okay. I'm kind of guilty here of not finishing her first book yet.
Dude, you've been dating her for 7-8 months, haven't you?
I know. Yeah, and it's not even that. I started reading it before her and I were together. And I don't know. I used to be so much more of a reader especially when I was in the Navy, because out at sea I would just read book after book. But ever since, I don't know, the past few years, I just kind of been slacking on my reading and haven't been doing very well. So I definitely need to get back on it. That's for sure.
bits and pieces of the books, so like some of the good stuff, or had some of the books read to me. But mostly, I've just seen the first two movies now.
Story time. Who's reading this? Who's reading them?
My wife.
Oh, okay.
my daughter. It was for a school project.
Story time. Everybody gather around.
So we're gonna gather around. So 50 Shades of Grey. So the character, the female Anastasia Steele, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my God! Are you serious?
Yeah, that's her name.
That's the name of the book. Wow.
That's her name, Anastasia. Yeah.
Yeah, it just sounds like a soap opera name. That's all.
It is. This is awesome.
Anastasia Steele.
Yeah,
Madam Steele to you.
She pretty much meets this, hardcore billionaire, and he takes a serious liking to her. But he's not into the girlfriend thing. He likes to be, I guess, a dominant and wants them to be a submissive, like the whole BDSM kind of deal.
Okay.
That's really the gist of it. The gist of it. And pretty much he ends up, though, kind of for the first time, well, maybe the first time, starting to fall for her. Like, she's, like, getting to him in a way others haven't. So that's the concept of it. But in between there, obviously, in the middle of that love. So this morning, I'm taking my daughter to school, and they always do these trivia questions all the time.
Trivia.
And one, I didn't catch all the beginning hints, but one of the hints was Rosa Parks. And
who's they?
Rosa Parks.
No,
that was one of the hints.
Who does trivia?
It's just on the radio.
Oh, on the radio.
Like, we're just listening to the radio, and I don't really listen to the radio that much anymore. We'll actually get into that later in the show.
Okay.
But I'm just listening, and one of the things was Rosa Parks, and I guess the answer ended up being Outcast or some kind of Outcast song.
Okay.
So I just decided I'm gonna play that song Rosa Parks for my daughter because she'll like that, And I'm just like kind of reminiscing. So then after I drop her off, I get into this total, just one of those YouTube, what do you call it? YouTube black holes. YouTube black holes.
Time sucks. Yeah.
But it was always old '90s, like mid '90s to early 2000s hip hop and rap.
Yeah.
Like the stuff we used to listen to. I just started listening to Snoop Dogg, and then I was listening to Notorious B.I.G. and just all the stuff. I don't know. Didn't know if that was interesting to you. But
what was that from?
That was from an old Bugs Bunny cartoon from like the 80s. It was like some kind of boxing thing. Remember when he goes against that big, mean-looking boxer dude?
Yeah.
And one of the people that the first guy that big, mean, giant boxing dude kicks ass is Ravishing Ronald. Just turns Ravishing Ronald into a pretzel. It was the only person or name that related to Ronald that I thought sounded good. I've never liked it. Ronald McDonald, Ronald Reagan. I've never really liked my name very much. And most people I know named Ron or Ronald don't like their name.
Yeah.
So I always like the Ravishing Ronald. So it's just my go-to if somebody tries to give me a nickname. Besides dumbass.
Who calls you that? Your wife?
Yeah, a lot. A lot. And deservedly so. Well, I thought the first thing we could talk about, speaking of my wife, the first thing we could talk about was some 50 Shades of Grey, man.
I know absolutely nothing about that.
That's okay. All right, so let me give you the concept of 50 Shades of Grey.
Okay, here we go.
So there's a girl.
Wait a second. Have you read the books?
I have not read the books. I've seen the movies. I've read kind of, I guess because it'll be more of a topic later on too, but I just was weird how I got caught into that. I haven't listened to that stuff in years and years, but I still knew all the words, of course. It was just awesome. And I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, they don't make music like that anymore.
No, they don't.
And then I sounded to myself like an old man. They don't make them like they used to.
Right.
You're listening to Your 40. Now what? Getting closer to early bird dinners, but still not quite ready to grow up. So hike up your pants, sip your latte, and get ready for the show. And now, the hosts of Your 40. Now what? Tach and Ron.
Well, welcome to another episode of Your 40. Now what? My name is Tach, and with me, as always,
Ron.
That's it, just Ron. I was going to try to make up a a nickname for him, but I couldn't think of anything.
Ravishing Ronald, the women
Wait, what is
call me.
that?